please.
Okay, we're about to start the session.
Yeah, please.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Emmanuel. Today marks an exciting milestone in our collective pursuit of efficiency, agility, and innovation in the dynamic world of software development and IT operations. I hope we can all see the slides. Can we all see it?
Yes, we are able to see your screen. Can you put on the presentation mode?
Can you see the slide? Can you see it?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Can you put on the
this is
presentation mode?
Yes, the presentation one, right?
Yeah. So on the bottom side, you can see.
Can you see it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, are you there, Mr. Raj? Hello, Mr. Raj.
We are able to see your screen.
Are we good to go?
Yes, we can. I'm just asking, can you put this presentation on the presentation mode? Can you see on the bottom? On the bottom of the screen, just left side of the minus icon, just press it.
Left side. I'm using the web version, so I don't know if mine has.
Yeah, it's there. Just check on the bottom.
Okay, so what I see is sidebar. Always show sidebar. Go to all sidebar settings. Is that it?
Please go ahead. You can start presentations. I'm okay with that. Just go ahead.
Okay, good. Okay, so today we're talking about DevOps Beginners Program Journey, and we stand at a pivotal moment in technology. The traditional silos between development teams focus on building and releasing software and operation teams responsible for its stable and reliable deployment and maintenance. Okay, so due to the fact that every organization is running on one software or the other, DevOps engineers are very important in making the process run efficiently and smoothly. So you have the software developer. The software developer develops the software, but it is the work of the DevOps engineer to make sure the day-to-day activities run on fine. Back in the days before we had DevOps engineer, or before we started practicing Agile DevOps, it used to be the software engineer design the software. If there's an issue, they need to call the software engineer back to fix the issue. But when they imbibed the culture of DevOps, because DevOps is more of a culture, that process changed. So the guy who designed the application can be in China, for example, and the guy who is running the day-to-day activity of the application can be in India, or it can be in the United States, depends on where the company is. So for example, if it's a bank and you have a guy coming to design it, maybe he came in from, let's say, Malaysia, and it was in US at that time when the software was designed. He later, 6 months, let's say 6 months, 7 months, he travels from the United States. Now, the problem is, how do you call this guy back if he's unreachable to adjust some parts of the applications? Or let's say now that everything is about artificial intelligence, So you want to add some artificial intelligence, some AI to your banking application, and the guy who designed it is in China. You can't get in touch with him. So you can see how important a DevOps engineer is to every cycle of life, to every business, to every application. You need a DevOps engineer. You need someone to, okay, go back, look at the code. The software guy have done his work, is out. It's up to you to run the day-to-day activity. So you see, our DevOps program is meticulously crafted to equip you with the knowledge, skills, and understanding necessary, not only comprehending this transformation approach, but also to become an active agent in its implementation and success with your representative role and teams. So over the course of this program, we will embark on a journey that dives deep into the core principle of DevOps, including culture and collaboration. So we will explore the fundamentals shift in mindset required to foster trust, transparency, and shared responsibility between development and operational teams. You will learn how to cultivate effective communication, break down organization barriers, and build a culture of continuous improvement, because that is what DevOps is all about. You need to keep improving the application from day to day. Okay, automation. As a DevOps engineer in this program, you're going to learn automation. Automation is the bedrock of DevOps, enabling speed, consistency, and reduce manual errors. We will dive deep into various automation tools and techniques across the software delivery pipelines, from infrastructure provisioning and configuration management to continuous integration, continuous delivery, and automation testing. In this program, you're going to learn continuous integration and continuous delivery, which is CI/CD. I hope most of you have heard about it. You will gain a thorough understanding of CI/CD pipeline. You'll be learning how to automate and build, test, and deploy processes, enabling frequent and reliable software release with minimal manual intervention. So it's like you're going to learn how to set a system down, or a system process down that you don't have to always do, okay, A or B or C. They say, okay, we need a change. You go back, you touch A, it's automated. There's little or no manual interference, okay? Now, you're going to be learning infrastructure as code. So in this program, we will explore the paradigm of managing and provisioning infrastructure using codes, allowing for vision control, repetitivity, and scalability of your IT environment. When you hear infrastructure as code, I know most of you know about AWS. So let's say you have to create an EC2 instance. Before you create an EC2 instance, you have to create a virtual private cloud. Now, you don't have to go to AWS Council to do all this. We're going to teach you how to do this with Terraform, with the help of Terraform. So what you need to do is infrastructure as code. You go to Terraform, you connect it to your AWS account or the company you're working for, the account, and you can configure the infrastructure. So you can create EC2 instances, you can create virtual private cloud, you can pair private clouds, you can create security groups from using just Terraform and not going to the AWS Council. And in this program, we're going to teach you monitoring and logging. You're going to understand the health and performance of your application and infrastructure. This is very crucial in DevOps. We will cover essential monitoring and logging practices, enable proactive identification and resolution of issues. Now, in this program, you're also going to learn security integration, which is DevSecOps. Excuse me. Security is no longer an afterthought, but an integral part of DevOps lifecycle. We will explore how to embed security practices early and often within the deployment and operational process. So while you're learning every aspect of DevOps, we're going to teach you the most secured way of doing this. Okay? And Agile principles. So in this program, you're going to learn Agile principles. So while DevOps is distinct from Agile, it's often complement and enhance Agile methodology. So we will revisit the key Agile principles and how they align with the support DevOps practices. This program is designed to be highly engaging and practical. So we're going to be dealing with the practical aspect. It's going to be less of talk and more of practical, because we want you to know how to do these things with your hands. Like you can take up a system and you can work as a DevOps engineer. So if you for example, if you're in an interview or you're with your friends, you can show them, if they you can tell them, I can talk DevOps and I can show you DevOps. So you can show them CI/CD pipelines, you can deal with Jenkins, you can show them SonarQube to check in codes, you can do all this. So this is what we're going to be teaching you in this program, okay? So whether you are a developer seeking to understand the operational aspect of your code, an operation professional looking to embrace automation and elaboration, a quality assurance engineering aiming to integrate testing seamlessly into the pipeline, or a leader looking to drive organization transformation, this program has something valuable to offer. By the end of this program, you will be equipped with understanding the core principles and benefits of DevOps. You will be able to identify opportunities for DevOps adoption within your team and organization. You will be able to contribute to the implementation and optimization of CI/CD pipeline. You'll be able to leverage automation tools and techniques to improve efficiently and reliable. You'll be able to foster a culture of collaboration and shared responsibility. And you'll be able to integrate security consideration throughout the software delivery lifecycle. So we are thrilled to embark on this learning journey with you. We encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, and engage with your peers. Let us work together to build a future where development and operation are seamlessly integrated, driving innovation and delivering exceptional value. So once again, I welcome you to this program. We are excited to witness your growth and the positive impact you will undoubtedly make. So let the journey begin. So let's start. What is a DevOps engineer? Who is a DevOps engineer? So a DevOps engineer plays a crucial role and multiplication role in modern technology, acting as a vital bridge between software development and IT operations. Their importance stems from their ability to streamline the software development lifecycle and enhance collaboration and ultimately drive significant business value. So here's a breakdown. As a DevOps engineer, you're bridging the gap between development and operation, breaking down silos traditionally. Okay, development and operation teams have operated in silos with different goals and priority. DevOps engineer fosters a culture of collaboration, communication, and shared responsibility, breaking down the barriers. As a DevOps engineer, automating the software delivery lifecycle. Continuous integration and deployment pipeline. That is when you start talking about a DevOps engineer, the first thing you talk about is CI/CD. Hello?
Yeah, I'm just telling. Are you sharing something? I seen your presentation, but there's no movement is there. I just say the initial screen. So
Okay. Is it moving now? Can you see it move now?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to be talking about basic things you need to know before coming into DevOps. So our class, we're going to teach you about the prerequisites. We're going to be teaching you Linux. And okay, just hold on a minute. We're going to be teaching you Linux. Linux is incredible impact of knowing DevOps for several foundational reasons. So why we are starting with Linux is because most of the applications running today and the cloud especially, their backbone is Linux. So the foundation of infrastructure, servers, code line interface, they are all powered by Linux. So a vast majority of servers that host applications and infrastructure components in modern DevOps environment run on Linux distribution. So you're going to be learning about Ubuntu. You're going to be learning about Red Hat. All these are powered by Linux. Understanding how to navigate, configure, and manage this system via the command line interface. So this is very important. Cloud computing. Linux is very important for cloud computing. And this is our program. We're going to be touching on cloud computing. Note, I am still talking about how to familiarize with Linux. Okay? And outside cloud computing, to understand DevOps properly, this program, we're going to be teaching containers. And the backbone of containers is Linux. You're going to be using a lot of command line. When you're telling you the infrastructure as code, you're going to be using command line, and you need to understand Linux. So that is why we are starting with Linux. Command line will help you automate. It's going to be something you will know. We're going to be doing automation. While we're going down the slides, I'm going to talk more about it. So DevOps heavily emphasize on automation because automation makes tasks, make you go about your tasks repeatedly. So sometimes you do for your, after this our learning process, when you start working for your company, some of the tasks, you're going to be doing them repeatedly. So all you need to do is get the first command line of code perfect, and all you need to do is repeat them over and over again. So this is why Linux is very important. Very important. Next, I'm going to be talking about networking. Okay, so next is networking. Our course content, the second topic is going to be networking. Now, networking is absolutely crucial to understand and effectively practice DevOps. For a multitude of interconnected reasons, in today's distribution and interconnected application landscape, a solid grasp of networking principle is no longer just for networking administrators, it is the fundamental skills for DevOps professionals. Here is why you need networking. You need to understand application deployment and communication. So in order to understand how application interact, how to deploy application, how application communicate, you need to understand networking. Application architecture. The modern applications are often distributed across multiple servers, containers, and cloud services. And you need to know how the port number aligns for a particular application or a particular software. And you need to know the IP address, TCP IP, HTTP, DNS. Now, I know you must have heard about load balancing. So in this class, we're going to be teaching you about load balancing. It's essential. And in order to carry on a load balancing task effectively, you need to understand networking. Even in infrastructure as code, networking is very vital. Flow of traffic. So you can be working for an e-commerce company and they are planning to have a Black Friday. What is going to happen? You're going to know how to balance the load because it's going to be huge traffic coming in on that day. It's not going to be like every other normal day. For example, let's take eBay or Amazon. They're having a Black Friday. As a DevOps engineer, you need to know how to balance the load on those particular days. Okay? So that's why you're going to be learning networking. You're going to be learning network configuration with Terraform. You're going to use tools like Terraform or CloudFormation, okay? And I'm going to be teaching Visual Private Cloud, Subnet, Security Group, Network ACL, Load Balancer, routing rules. You're going to be understanding all these. They might sound strange to some of you that are just getting into tech, but all this will be achievable within this time frame. This is what you're going to learn, okay? Okay, give me a minute. Now, okay, so this is the course content, okay? The first, like I said, is Linux, then we move to networking. The third is cloud computing. We're going to be teaching cloud computing. We're going to be teaching version control. We're going to be teaching CI/CD pipelines. I've talked about it, containers and Kubernetes. So the reason you can watch Netflix and have a lot of movies saved in Netflix is with the help of Kubernetes. So we're going to be talking, learning and talking so much about containers. Very important, very vital. Very good. Okay, to tell you how important containers are, they have Kubernetes certification. So anytime you hear Kubernetes, we're talking more about containers. Okay. Then next, we're going to do infrastructure as code. Okay. During this time, infrastructure as code. Yeah, that's going to be next. You're going to be learning about Terraform, very important. Terraform on its own have a certification. We're going to be introducing you to security and DevSecOps, and then observability and monitoring, very important because it's like a patient. You have a sick patient, okay? So it's not every time the patient goes to the hospital that they find the same doctor they met the previous time. The reason you need monitoring is to see the health of the application. What issues did the application have the previous time? Okay. By knowing this, you can easily troubleshoot what might have happened this time around. Okay. And if there is a problem in the application, it is easier for you to go back to the monitoring and say, okay, what went wrong? You can see, okay, this application, let's take a human, for example. You can say, oh, I see this application has a problem of diabetes. If it's a human, maybe they took too much sugar. So you can now troubleshoot and say, if this is the case, this is how to go about fixing the issue. Because you're going to be seeing, we're going to be using Grafana and Prometheus, to check the health of the application. So from day to day, I'm going to teach you how to monitor applications to see the health and to know how well they're doing. So if a server is going down, you should be able to create multiple servers, okay? So, okay, we've talked about Linux. We've talked about networking. And okay, I think we've talked version control. Hold on. Now, version control is absolutely fundamental, and indispensable to knowing and practicing DevOps. It is not just a nice to have, it is a core pillar that enables many of the key principles and practices of DevOps. Here is why. Collaboration. When you start working as a DevOps engineer, you are going to be collaborating and talking with your team. Okay, you're going to talk with the marketing team, you're going to talk with the accounting team, you're going to talk with the software engineers, and you need to know version control. Because here is where I'm going to be teaching you about Git. Git is where the software engineers drop their codes and you take it up from there. So they've done all the provisioning, they've done all the configurations and all that. Now it is up to you to say, okay, I'm going to run this code to see if it works effectively. So let's say you work for a bank and they need some upgrade to their application, to their bank application. They contact the software engineer. Software engineer run your code. Software engineer runs his code to add more slides to the bank app or to add new features to the bank app. After it does that, it is up to you to test first before it is imputed into the application. So this is where you need to learn about collaboration and teamwork, tracking changes and history. You need to learn about all this, okay? And we're going to be teaching about all this in our program. You're going to be learning command line again in this version control. You're going to be learning automation. You're going to see flexibility and customization, open source. We're going to be using Linux open source nature that allows deep customization and tailoring of the operational system to specify needs, which is often required in complex DevOps environments. Okay, we're going to be teaching package management, understanding Linux package management like app, yum. We're going to learn all this in version controls. So it's essential for installing, updating, and managing software and dependencies on servers. Even in virtual control, we're going to learn some things about security because there's security in every process, right? We're going to be learning scripting and automation language, okay? So you learn some Linux scripting commands in this stage too. You're going to be learning scripting command. We're going to be talking about bash. You're going to learn about bash scripting. Therefore, you're going to be gaining proficiency in Linux, participating in the command line, system administration basis, and scripting. It is crucial at this stage to learn scripting in DevOps, okay? Next, we're talking about cloud computing. I've talked about cloud computing before. It's very important in understanding DevOps, very important. DevOps runs on the cloud. So everything we do into this application world, everything done in the application, most of them are hosted on the cloud. So it is very vital you understand how the cloud functions. Very important. You're going to be learning, I've told you, you're going to be learning about creating your own private cloud. You're going to be learning about doing all this on the cloud, hosting clouds. You're going to be learning about migrating into the cloud. We're going to teach you all this during this section of cloud computing, okay? Then CI/CD, like I said, is the backbone of DevOps. It enables you to automate software development cycle, build culture of collaboration. We're going to be doing all this in CI/CD. The first thing you hear when somebody talks about DevOps most times is CI/CD. Then container. I can talk about container for 2 hours without no stop. And that's because of how elaborate containerization is. And it's kind of complex to understand. But you hear Docker, you hear Kubernetes. Most of the time you hear Kubernetes, but this is, we're talking, and whenever you hear Kubernetes, no, we're talking about containerization. This is container, how to package applications. How to package. It is more about how to package applications, okay? Okay, yes. Importance of Kubernetes, load balancing. You're going to be talking about all that infrastructure as code. Thank you. And last but not the least, we'll be teaching you infrastructure as code. I've talked about it before. You're going to learn about Terraform, monitoring, and all that. Prometheus and Grafana. Datadog, we can add Datadog to it. For all this is about monitoring applications. We can add Datadog to it, but I've explained to you why it's important to know about monitoring and observability, because you, just like a human being, you need to monitor an application and know what past issues they had, what present issue is happening now, and what problem you are going to solve in the future. So that's why monitoring is very important. Okay. And that's it. And we're going to be talking about security. We're going to teach you about security. It's very important. You need to use clean codes. You need to scan your codes with Sonar Cube. We're going to teach you all this, how to impute security in every stage of the DevOps life cycle. This is very important because security is like a shared responsibility. Everybody has to play their part. So the cloud service you're using is playing their part. You are playing your part. We're all playing our parts. And we're going to talk about, let me talk about the opportunities. So for example, if you have the opportunity to travel to, let me say, the United States or the United Kingdom today, I'm going to call some key professions, and I'm going to tell you which is going to give you a job faster. So let me say you have a doctor, you have a software engineer, you have a cybersecurity engineer or cybersecurity analyst, and you have a DevOps engineer. I can assure you, and you can do your research, that a DevOps engineer is more likely to get a job in the first 5 days than any other occupation. Because I cannot say DevOps is so new because we have AI, which is very new, but DevOps is still kind of new, and you have less DevOps engineers than you have cybersecurity engineers. So DevOps is of high demand, okay? As a DevOps engineer, anywhere you are, you have a chance of getting hired. That is a fact, because everything we do today, every business that runs on applications, and someone needs to monitor the life of this application. As a DevOps engineer, it is very, very fast to get a job. You can go out online and do your research. After this program, it is it is very fast. That's just it. It is very fast to get a job as a DevOps engineer. Most DevOps engineers I know don't stay without getting a job. And it is also very fast to move from a junior DevOps engineer to a senior DevOps engineer. So I talk to DevOps engineers, I talk to people from different professions, especially in tech, and I talk to DevOps engineers time and time again. So most of them will tell you it took them this period of time to move from a junior DevOps engineer to a senior DevOps engineer. And the time is always shorter than a software engineer. So this program is not just something you learn and you think after you learn it, you need to keep learning or no. First of all, it is a well-packed program that can take you from zero to knowing a lot within a short period of time. And we are going to be having projects during this program. So when I'm teaching about, for example, version control, we're going to be doing projects that you can showcase on LinkedIn that you have not only done version control, you've done something on because before you get to version control, you must have done Linux and networking. So you're going to be having documents to upload on LinkedIn of projects you have done in networking, in Linux, and in version control. From time to time, we're going to do blue-green deployment, which as I told to today, if you go on LinkedIn, you'll see it is of a high demand. We're going to be doing blue-green deployments, okay? You're going to be learning about Argo CD. Okay, so this Argo CD, it's about a particular pattern, which, okay, when you're talking about Argo CD, we're going to be talking Kubernetes as well. So this is a particular pattern companies of today like to go through. We're going to be talking and learning GitOps. Now, GitOps is simply saying Git is the only source of truth. Why you learn Git? Why you're learning about Git? We do a project on GitOps. You upload these documents on LinkedIn, and you'll see the response you get within 24 hours. Because engineers have come together, and they're saying that DevOps, there's a big argument that GitOps is the perfect way of running applications. Why is that so? So you are the DevOps engineer. We go through those GitOps projects and you make Git your only source of truth, as a DevOps engineer, you can be sleeping at night. Someone else come and tamper with the infrastructure. Now you wake up in the morning and you see there have been some changes in the application. All you need to do is roll back. Yes, you just roll back. So GitOps is more like a pull and not a push. So you just go back to the previous version and say, no, you prefer it to be in this particular way, and that's it. So we're going to be doing projects on GitHub, Argo CD, Blue Grid deployment. We're going to be doing 3-tier. We're going to be doing 2-tier application. You're going to be doing Java application deployment. And with all these, you don't just have knowledge and a certificate of completion. You also have projects to showcase. And trust me, most of those projects are what the big company use into this world for the day-to-day activities, okay? And I needed to know that for example, if you're in the United States or if you're in Canada or you're in the UK, I don't think a DevOps engineer earns, a junior DevOps engineer earns less than $6,000. And the fact that you're working from home, you can do more than one job as a DevOps engineer. So this is very important. I don't know, this is a big investment you're making. You're going to take your time. It's not just the only time we're online studying. You're going to take your time. After we're done with classes, you're going to go back. You're going to read Kubernetes over and over again. It's very complex. You're going to read version control. You're going to read all these. And when you're done with this program, you are going to be a DevOps engineer that can defend that name, DevOps engineer. I promise you, if you stand in after this program, when you stand in front of someone interviewing you, they're going to say, hey, they're impressed. And that's what I believe, that after this program, anyone interviewing you for a DevOps role is going to say, I am impressed. I am really impressed. They will be so surprised how you have learned all this within a short time. And that is a fact. They will be so surprised how you have been able to learn this within a short time. And that boils down to the fact that you are not just learning DevOps, you are doing projects in DevOps. Yeah, so that's why you can talk it, you can show it, and you can tell them within a period of 3 months, 4 months, I have done 4 projects, I've done 6 projects. And I believe after this program, it will get to the stage where you can just get a document and say, okay, these are the codes, deploy it to your application, and you can take it from the scratch to the finish, and you're going to do every single step as a professional. Yes. So that is all for now. I will say thank you for this, for your time. And if you have any questions, I'm all ears. Hello, do you have any question? Hello?